Josh Moore of Atlanta Kyusho and Jujitsu, www.atlantakempo.com. I was 16 years old in high school, and a buddy of mine, we were really just looking for something to do, and a friend of ours, a lady friend of ours, was in a local martial art class, and he told me, hey, so-and-so's in the class, and I happen to have a big crush on this particular person, and I was like, oh, she's in there? So, you know, boys being boys, decided to go give a martial art class a try, mainly just because there was a girl in there. But from the very first day, I loved it. Kind of forgot she was there after a little bit, and just loved taking classes ever since. Well, as an assistant instructor at a school in Roswell. And it kind of came down to a time where I felt like we were kind of going different directions, and I kind of wanted to do my own thing, and I wanted to do it a little differently downtown. A myriad of factors, I decided that I wanted to move actually into Atlanta, because I just loved being in the city. Moved into the city and start my own school downtown. I first started in, I believe it was February of 2007. I opened up my first space. I actually lived in the back of it in order to cut cost, and I was scared because this was a huge investment. I had been saving up money for about a year before that. Actually, it was pretty interesting. I was living in Roswell in a small apartment that I rented, and I was collecting martial arts supplies when I had the cash off online, off Craigslist, wherever I could get it. So my living room was just filled with martial arts supplies. And so I moved into the spot downtown. It was a little scary because in the beginning I only had 2 students. I only know 2 people in the area that were ready to train. And the memory that always comes to mind is it was February, so it was pretty cold. And like I said, I lived in the back. So one of the very first nights I was there, I remember in my bed, I didn't turn the heat on because I didn't even know if I could afford heat. So I had a little space heater beside my bed with my hands and feet hanging off the bed, just thinking, it'll be worth it, it'll be worth it, it'll be worth it. And you know, eventually it became worth it. But that first while was hard. When it first came to teaching, at first I was like an assistant instructor at other schools, so it was easy that I just showed up, I did my thing, I would train, I would help teach, and sometimes I would lock up and go home, and that was about it. But when it came down to the logistical side of it, figuring out how do you actually advertise to people, how do you, you know, take memberships, how do you keep in contact with people, even things of running the dojo as far as like insurance and things like that, class schedules, what to offer, what not to offer, how much is too much, how much is not enough. I really had to talk to a lot of my colleagues about that, because I was like, so you've been doing this for however many years, how do you do this, or how do you do this? There's a term that says look for the bright spots. So see something that you like is working somewhere and try to emulate that, and that's one of the things I've tried to do. But even over the years, more and more things come up. You know, how do you deal with certain situations that arise in the dojo? Maybe someone coming in and trying to start a fight, or just many things. And that's definitely an interesting one that comes up. Running a martial arts school, sometimes you get people that are a little headstrong, that watched one too many UFC clips, that want to get a piece of somebody and try to throw it on YouTube, unfortunately. And so it's interesting learning how to professionally deal with that as well. As the years went by, it got easier and easier to run the business, and one of the best things I've really loved about doing this is my opportunities to travel. I've got a lot of friends and colleagues around the U.S. As well as overseas, over in Europe. So it's fantastic to be able to go out to these different people's schools or different camps. I see my teachers, I see my friends, different places around the Midwest, Northeast, out in California. I try to get to Europe once a year to do training out there, a lot in Switzerland, Germany, Italy, in the UK for martial arts. So it's fantastic that doing this has opened up those opportunities for me, to allow me to meet some amazing people, to be able to have that friendship with them and that open door. And any of them are welcome to come visit me anytime, and I'll most certainly put them up and take care of them while they're here. Actually, I was just in Switzerland and Italy about, I guess it was about a month ago. 15 years ago, I never would have even thought about that. I never thought that I would be hiking up and out with some of my martial art friends, and then going in the dojo and training afterwards. So it's amazing how one opportunity leads to another, but it's if you're willing to take it. There's definitely risk involved when you do this sort of thing. So when there's opportunity there, you have to jump on it. And when that opportunity opens, another opportunity can open. And you just have to keep moving along and take advantage of those opportunities, but also be willing to always pay it back as well. So when people ask, they say, what do you do as far as martial arts? It's not really always a simple answer. Quite often when people say, what do you do, my elevator answer is, oh, we do Kempo and Jujitsu, combative martial arts. The longer answer is, we do a little bit of everything. I try not to subscribe necessarily to one particular style. I think styles in martial arts are very limiting, just like a singular opinion. If you want to train for sport, go train for sport. If you want to train for meditation, train for meditation. What we train for here is combative self-defense. When people sometimes don't understand that, you think of things like MMA, for example. MMA is awesome. It's a fantastic sport. It's a really, obviously, very popular sport today, but it is confined within certain rule sets. There's only so many things that you can do within MMA. And that's not to knock it. It's good stuff. But myself and a lot of our other colleagues, we train outside the sport realm. So essentially in a self-defense scenario, it's not really one thing that we're concentrating on. But to kind of generalize, it's striking arts and grappling arts. A lot of Kempo, Okinawan martial arts, Jujitsu, Japanese-based martial arts, intertwined with Filipino martial arts. And the idea is to make it an integrated system, being very versatile, whether it be stand-up striking, up-close grappling, or even on the ground grappling, but always geared towards combative self-defense. So two things I do outside regular class schedules is, one, I'll teach a women's self-defense class. And I actually don't even call it women's self-defense. A lot of times I'll just call it simple self-defense, because I want to gear it really towards anyone. Not everybody has, maybe not the funds, the time, or the want to be able to come in and train in a martial art class regularly. And that's okay. It's not for everybody. But it is good that everybody learns at least some degree of self-defense, some scenario type self-defense. So every couple months I'll hold something, I usually call it Simple Self-Defense Workshop. Come in, learn really, really easy stuff from scenarios. Why easy? Because it's easier to remember on the spot, right? We can show you really complex technical things, but if you're only coming in for a one-time class, you want just the really most basic thing that can work in most situations. So that's my Simple Self-Defense class. I also teach a small circle Jujitsu and Kyusho Jitsu workshop, which is taking a lot of the principles of Professor Wally J and sharing those with a lot of the martial art styles. He often referred to small circle Jujitsu as the art within the art. So the concepts of small circle Jujitsu can really apply to any art. So we've been going around to different schools over the summer and holding these workshops that take what people already know and kind of applying small circle Jiu-Jitsu concepts to it to usually make it work a little bit tighter, a little bit faster. So a lot of the proceeds from either the small circle Jiu-Jitsu workshop or the women's self-defense, I often like to donate them to charity. Over this past summer, we donated a lot of money to the End It movement, which is to fight against human trafficking, child slavery, things like that. Whenever you're going on a venture by yourself, whether it be entrepreneurship or whatever it may be, a lot of times people say, oh, you just got to go for it, you just got to go for it. But really, in actuality, that's kind of vague. What does going for it mean? It's important that you define for yourself what is going for it. Start with the end in mind. Where do I want to be at the end of this venture, or at least getting it started, or 5 years from now? And I think one of the most important things is having good supportive people around you. One of the reasons I was able to do this was because I had a group around me, friends of my family, that were extremely supportive, saying, yes, you can do this, yes, you can do this. And if you're around people that are naysayers, the people that are saying, that's too much, you can't do that, or that's too far of a dream, get those people out of your life. Those aren't the people that you need to have around you. It's the people that believe in you and believe themselves and believe in bringing everybody up. Those are the people you need to have in your company, and you will help raise them and they will help raise you. So one of the biggest things is have a support group. And it's not anything you have to go to AA about, or maybe it is, but just have good friends around you that support you in what you want to do. Another thing is make your dreams goals, put them down on paper, know where you want to be. So I think you'll find what your inspiration is if you just keep looking. But define what you're looking for, right? And make sure that you have good people around you that are going to support you. And then when it's their turn, hopefully you'll be there to support them as well. One other thing that's also very important with that is don't be afraid to recognize your own accomplishments. Sometimes you're so in the mix, you're so moving along, you don't have the time to just stop and say, oh, wow, I did that. That's great. Beware, don't stop and say, oh, that was great, and forget to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward, but stop to pat yourself on the back every now and again. Be proud of what you've just done. So when we talk about being thankful, there's so many people I can be thankful to for where I've gotten in the martial art world, both from a business aspect, from a support aspect, from a training aspect, and everything. I think having that kind of appreciation really makes you, I hate to say it like this, but overall a better person, and being more appreciative allows you to give more for what you've done. There's a quote from a French author that says, "No man is an island." What does that mean? It means you can't get to anywhere by yourself, right? You think about the clothes that you wear. Somebody had to make those clothes. You think about the money that you paid for to get those clothes, right? Somebody had to hire you. You had to do work. Somebody had to pay you. Somebody actually had to write a check or print a check off to give to you so you could go buy the clothes that somebody else made. Life is intertangled, and there's always something to be appreciative for. So for just to name a couple of the people that I can think off the top of my head is most certainly, first and foremost, my mother. She passed a few years ago, but ever since I was a child, she always said that you can do whatever you put your mind to, and I believe that 100%. I really, really do, and I will gladly pass on that inspiration to anybody. Other people, my good buddy Scott Sellers, at least from a business aspect, the easiest piece of advice he gave me, he said, nothing good comes without great risk. Scott's an entrepreneur, runs a very big industry, and it's helped me a lot in the business world and really taking that big leap. Other people are just a lot of my mentors and teachers that I've had over the years. Cliff Bolton, Dusty Seal, T.A. Frazier, Steve Cooper, Will Higginbotham, Leon J., Ken Smith, and all of those are just to name a few. There's been so many people that have really helped me develop my martial arts. They help me get better so I can train other people to get better. And I still train with a lot of those people today because I'm constantly trying to improve my skill. And every time I get an opportunity to train with them, I am extremely grateful for it. I'm grateful for a lot of my friends and colleagues overseas in different countries, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, UK, France. A lot of these guys that I've met over the years have become martial art brothers to me. They are now family to me, and I appreciate them for everything that they've done and everything that they've shared with me. And one of the biggest ones is really my students. A lot of the people that come to me and they trust me to try to help them help themselves. Atlanta Kyusho and Jujitsu is not about me, it's about all of us, and everybody helps everybody get better. But doing martial arts, teaching martial arts, training martial arts is a bit of therapy as well. It really is therapy for me. And having such a great group of people to be around, to talk to train with, and even go out and have a beer with afterwards, they don't even realize how much that helps me and my life as well. So I'm very thankful for all of them. And of course, our city. I love Atlanta. There's so much opportunity in this city. So thank you to everyone. Be sure to subscribe. #OurAtlanta, #AtlantaKyusho.